What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, I wanted to do the showcase here on my free-to-play account of me actually clearing Nidhoggr floor 3 for the first time ever, guys. So in this video, I want to go over the gear that was actually running first before I actually show you guys the run, because the run was a clip from my stream, so I have a all of that already ready, but I wanted to show you guys pretty much the setup that I ran so you guys can get an idea of like what characters I have, the dupe levels, the outfits and all of that. So I have this little part at the beginning where I'm going to show you guys pretty much everything that I had going on. So this is pretty much the exact same setup. I don't have the exact same CC here because I do have a little bit extra stats because of the constellation I literally just not acquired, but I did increase my constellation a little bit. For you guys wondering what my box CC is before we actually even hop into the actual like setup right here, my free-to-play account is around 6.9 million box CC. I think when I did the initial run, I was around like 6.8. So like nothing too crazy, right? I didn't have like a super insane amount of extra stats, so or less stats I mean, so this is really not going to change too much. So in terms of the setup that I was running, guys, let's go over each character and we'll talk about their gear sets and why I ran what I ran. So Tarmiel here, Holy Relic acquired. He is 6 out of 6, so if you don't have 6 out of 6 Tarmiel, you still should be okay. You don't need like super high dupes on him, but it obviously helps because you get more damage, right? That's pretty much what it is. It's mainly just this for damage because you don't really need the dupes for his actual tanking. His tanking is going to be the exact same as like anyone else's, right? So right here, you guys can see I am running a triple defense set, but the only pieces that are UR are the middle pieces. The rest are offset double defense. So these are from my Elat, but we gave it to my Tarmiel and it was still okay. So this is pretty much the setup. All your standard attack, defense, and HP rolls. Right, so and then cosmetics here only have HP cosmetics for him. That's literally it. No defense, no attack. That's literally it. Okay, moving on, we got Freya here. So Freya I actually fully invested in. I have her Holy Relic. She is only 1 out of 6, and this is the green variant because I was not able to actually get the red one, and I didn't actually, pull for the red one when she came out. So I have to use the green one in her place. In terms of your gear set, we are running attack defense. The only thing that's different in an attack defense set like this is that this piece right here, the earrings, is running resistance rolls. So you want to make sure you have resistance rolls on this piece, but you can run defense on the other piece. So I have defense on that. And then, yeah, about like 14.5 or higher on the rest of the stuff, but attack on the top pieces, HP on the bottom. You guys get the regular like rolls, right? But attack defense and then resistance rolls on the earring. Okay, that's what I was running. And then in terms of the outfits here, it's all the free-to-play outfits, and I just maxed them out. So we have the outfit slots, so the summer one, and then the free one they gave out, the summer SSR one, right? And then we have the summer weapon. We do have the free one they gave out, and then the regular weapon, and then we do also have the summer headpiece. We have the affinity one from this one. We have the free headpiece and then the default headpiece, and I maxed them all out. So pretty much my Freya was completely maxed out. But then again, if you guys have more box CC than me or more stats than me, you might not have to do as much maxing out of the cosmetics there. But yeah, 1 out of 6 and all that. I do have her Holy Relic, obviously. Before you actually want to do a floor 3 run, you definitely need that. But yeah, there you goes, my Freya. And then for the Margaret, I literally just pulled her 1 out of 6 as well. I didn't even have her Holy Relic equipped. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I did the run and I didn't even have her Holy Relic equipped, so bear that in mind. You'll probably do a lot better. Wow, I actually just a huge misplay. You guys will, yeah, I mean, there you go. I didn't even have the Holy Relic on. HP defense, standard HP defense, nothing too crazy. But yeah, like all the rolls are the same as the other characters I mentioned. No like special gear set. It's just HP defense, and I didn't even have her Holy Relic on. But you preferably do want her Holy Relic, yes, because you do get extra damage dealt and damage reduction. And then yeah, the passive is obviously made for Nidhoggr, and she's only 1 out of 6. I do have her affinity outfit as well. And if we go to her outfits here, I do have the final boss one. We have the summer ones. And then, yeah, the SSR pieces. I did not max out the SSR ones. I only maxed out the UR. But yeah, they're all like free to play pretty much. I got them from the blue Margaret and then this Margaret as well. So there's Margaret right there. And then moving on, we have Green Elizabeth, which is one of the most important units to have on this team. Have her Holy Relic for sure, obviously. I do have her 6 out of 6. She is one of the older SSR units in the game, so you probably have her 6/6 as well. And then HP defense, standard HP defense, nothing too crazy. Same kind of set as Margaret here, where we don't really have any like special rolls or anything like that. And then yeah, I mean, looking at the cosmetics here, I did actually pick up weapons for her, but that's it. And I did actually level up the UR one, but other than that, I just picked up the weapons so she heals a little bit better, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. I did max out the outfits, and I did max out the UR headpieces as well. So that is pretty much the setup, guys, in terms of what I was running, and then also the attack related card set from the Suwon Hadi boss, where we have both the dog cards and then the rest of the card set here for the 15% attack related stat bonus. And yeah, if we look at the gear set of my links right here, we were running HP defense on pretty much everybody. So I have my 6/6 the one ultimate, HP defense Sariel on Freya, and then we have HP defense Chandler, and then HP defense you know, Fat King, because these are all 6/6 characters for the most amount of stats. So there you guys go, man. I just wanted to put that at the beginning so you guys kind of see what I was kind of running. And now that that's out of the way, let's hop in and we'll talk about my actual run, and I'll give you guys my like you know, after you know, streaming it and doing the entire run, like my thoughts and stuff like that. So we'll hop in. Alright guys, so this is the clip from my stream here where I was able to actually do the run. As you guys can see, the CC is about the same as what I showed you guys pretty much in the little like showcase at the beginning. But we do hop in here and we do the Nidhoggr run, man. And this team, this was pretty much my first attempt trying this team. The entire run, I did have a few resets I had to do, so I did cut some of that those parts. But other than that, it was pretty much what you guys saw. Like, I think the total amount of time it took me to beat floors 1, 2, and 3 together was, I think, around like 50 minutes, give or take, guys. That's including me losing, and that's including like all the issues with that. Right, so yeah, man, with that out of the way though, this is the run, guys. One thing I will mention as well is that my YouTube chat is actually blocking the gauge, so I don't actually show the gauge for a lot of this, unfortunately. But you guys can kind of just see, like, from what the skills I'm using and like how I'm going about the fight, you'll see pretty much like where you know, the fight actually like goes, you know, in terms of like me beating it and stuff like that, right? So you guys kind of get an idea. But pretty much floor 1, you're building up Freya basic stats, right, or all stats. You want to just like spam her cards, and that's going to be good. Remember that the red Freya is a better slot than the green Freya, so you can actually run the red Freya instead on this team, and she is just better. But because I only had the green Freya, I had to use her, right? But if I had the red one, I would have used her for sure. But yeah, no. So yeah, Tarmiel was on the triple defense as you guys saw earlier, and that's because he needs to be the lowest HP, so he gets targeted. So that first slot he gets targeted and all of that. And then so right here, I do the marker buff to cleanse and get the heal. And then we actually are trying to move into the next phase pretty much. We're just trying to do as much damage, but also move into the next phase. We got a lot of cancel stance cards too. And yeah, I mean, we pretty much had it set up. So yeah, very, very cool. And if you guys want to see the entire run, actually, I guess I could link the original live stream I did for this. I'll have that in the description, I guess. But yeah, like I'll have that link so you guys can like watch the entire thing if you do want to just see like my thought process, and like, because I also was explaining it there, but I thought I would do like an updated one where I actually explain it to you guys, like, you know, after like my afterthoughts pretty much, right? Because this me talking right now is not actually when I was streaming it, right? But right here I do show the stats though, 57k attack, and I was only at 3 stacks of her passive though. I do show that. So that's pretty cool. Tarmiel was at 3 as well. And then the new Margaret is only at 1 extra damage dealt increase. So yeah, like that's pretty good showing though, right? You guys can kind of get it there. But yeah, no, so pretty much like what we're trying to do here on the floor 2 is we're just gonna keep removing stances and then dealing damage, so dishing out damage, right? That's pretty much what we wanted to do. And yeah, I mean, this floor was not too bad. I think I don't think I reset floor 1 actually. Floor 1 I actually completely beat. I might have had maybe 1 reset, but other than that, no, I like had like no issues clearing through floor 1. Because floor 1 is very easy, right? You have the first phase, which is just pretty much your damage phase. You have the second phase, which is pretty much just removing his stance, and then you can deal damage. The only thing here is that he does extort you, right? He does extort you, but because the marker gives you the stats outright, look how tanky my Tarmiel is. Look at that, and look how much he's healing as well. Right, like we are actually tanking really, really well against the boss right there, and so because of that, you know, we do pretty well. And then so right there, Tarmiel is going to get the double attack related stat increase, because remember Margaret's cleanse card, guys, is on the rank 2. You actually are giving a double amount of attack related stats. So you get the attack related 10%, and then when it cleanses, it actually gives you another 10% on top of that. So you get the damage reduction, you get the 20% attack related stats, and you get the heal too. So Margaret is crazy good because of that. right? So I think that's a really big bonus. And then right here, Freya does her single target and removes the final stance right there from him, and then we heal up. And yeah, we're just pretty much ready to move into the next phase, just dishing out damage. And yeah, I mean, this was working out pretty well though, guys. I think this team overall, if you guys are like free to play and you have kind of like the same setup as me, and you get this Margaret, like this is going to be really, really good, and you'll be able to clear floor 3 for sure. I think, which is pretty nice. So yeah, right there, he goes to the extort, but luckily he does it right as his last like attack right there, which is really good. And then right there we do you know, Freya ultimate, Margaret ultimate, Green Elizabeth heal ultimate, right, just to kind of like refresh the gauge and also like heal us back to full, because we want to definitely be full health moving into the final phase so that Tarmiel gets attacked, and then we also can like refresh our health as well as we finish off the fight. Yeah, like floor 1 phase 3 is pretty much just shredding the gauge, guys, by doing you know, higher ranking skills. So if you do like a rank 2 versus like a rank 1, I think you shred the gauge by 45% with a rank 2, and then a rank 1 I think is like 15% or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but it's very, very easy. He has 100% on the gauge. You guys can't really see it, but when you do multiple rank 2s, you shred the gauge very easily. So right here I might have had a reset though. I might have, because I couldn't really tell. And I showed the stats again, so this is like fully maxed out for a 67k attack right there on the free-to-play account, and that's maxed out completely because we have the automatic basic stats already given from Margaret, and then we have the 5 all stat stacks from Freya, and then the 5 basic stat increases that Tarmiel gives as well. So yeah, like we pretty much had like max attack Freya right there, as high as I could get, at least on the free-to-play account, and yeah, they did work in our favor here. As you guys can see, we do the double rank 2s. That's going to shred the gauge by about 90%. So he's going to be about 10% left over, right? So he still has that damage reduction. He still has the immortality. So he can't kill him yet. And another thing too is like, okay, I want to make sure I kill him when I have full HP, right? Because we don't want to go into floor 2 without having full HP. So right here, because I don't have a what's it called? Well, actually, I cleanse with Margaret here to get the heal. I was saying I might have to push an Elizabeth ult, but because I had the cleanse right there with Margaret, and then we follow up with Freya, we're gonna actually life steal back to full HP and pretty much finish off the fight, guys. So very, very cool right there. So yeah, Margaret is some really good tech. You get the heal, you get the increased damage. Like, I think everything about it is really good, man. So that's pretty nice. So there you go. We do the single target right there, follow up, and we get the kill, and that is going to be the floor 1 right there, guys. So now that we're done the floor 1, let's actually hop into the floor 2 here, and let's explain what we're doing in that phase. Alright guys, so we're hopping into the floor 2 here of the Nidhoggr. So you guys saw how easy floor 1 actually was with this team. Now we actually get to floor 2. So I had a few runs here where I did actually like lose. Obviously I told you guys already that I cut all the parts that I lost already from the stream. If you guys want to see the original stream, go check it out. But yeah, no, this is pretty much the strategy I was going about. So we have to build up the Freya all stats. We have to make sure that we're able to remove the buff at the last card when we're attacking into the Nidhoggr boss right here, right? So what I do is I do the Tarmiel buff card, I do the double single target with Freya, and then just waste the Tarmiel attack card as well. Just kind of getting our cards out of our hand, man, you know? Just kind of clear everything we have going on there. Yeah, so we're building up all stats, we're attacking into the boss, and yeah, pretty much this phase is just mainly you, you know, building up your stats, and then going into the next phase with kind of full HP so that you don't really have to worry about, you know, the way the boss works on the second phase with the cancel stance and who he's targeting, right? So that's obviously going to be really big. So right here, I do top deck a Margaret cleanse, which is really nice because that's obviously a guaranteed heal. So I do the, I do the Margaret cleanse. I do the single target with Margaret right there. We get the attack up, and then I do the follow-up single target with Margaret as well. Just kind of clearing out our hand, right? We cycle through the entire hand right there just to clear it out. And then, yeah, we follow up with the single target. And we're going to do a good chunk of damage, right? You know, Margaret's not doing too much. Bearing in mind, guys, I was doing this run, and you guys saw at the beginning, I didn't even have the Holy Relic for Margaret on. It's crazy. I'm surprised I actually did not have it on at all, but yeah, I just completely forgot, I guess, to put it on since I was using her, right? So that's a good showing right there. But yeah, so we did get another cleanse card, which was really nice. I think the runs I was losing, I just wasn't getting cleanse cards, which was pretty much the main problem you'll have with this team is like maybe your card RNG. Other than that, like, this team is great. Like, it really does get the job done. So yeah, we do the buff card right there. We do the single target with Freya. We do the single target with what's her name, with Margaret, and then we follow up with the single target on Green Elizabeth just to make sure we get the kill, right? So right here, so we do the single target with Margaret, and then Elizabeth's gonna do enough damage to actually finish him off. Boom, so we get the kill. And then we move into the second phase here, guys, which the second phase is where, you know, we're trying to pretty much not get, what's it called? We're trying to not get, or no, we're trying to remove his stances and then not get infected too, because we get infected every time we remove his stance. And so what you want to do is you want to kind of time that with a Margaret cleanse just to get a heal, right? It's kind of the same strategy you do with Red Miguelda. If you guys have done Nidhoggr already and you use Red Miguelda, like, you're usually going to be, you know, stance removing the boss, and then you instantly use a cleanse card so you can heal, right? Like, that's one of the strategies you can do, right? So yeah, so there we go. We do the single target. We follow up single target with the Tarmiel as well. And then, yeah, no, so, the lowest HP, I think, was still Tarmiel, because he does the first attack where, oh, no, maybe not. Maybe the lowest HP actually was Freya there. Okay, never mind. So, yeah, lowest HP was Freya, so she's getting targeted right there. So, that's kind of why you want your Tarmiel to be the lowest HP on your team, so that he gets targeted, right? That's always going to be the most important. So, right here, what I did then, I was like, okay, we want to kind of get a heal here, right? So, I was like, okay, let's do the Tarmiel ult first, and then we'll follow up Liz heal ult. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll be full health from that, and I don't even have to remove his stance. We'll save the stance removal for the following turn, because that's when we're really going to need it, right? So I do the Elizabeth ultimate, follow up with the Elizabeth single target, and then, yeah, I mean, we do the Tarmiel single target follow up as well, and he's going to stance up this turn, and this is where we actually do remove the stance with the Freya, and we actually got a really good hand right here as well, obviously top decking a Margaret cleanse buff card, which is really good, because that means we get a heal card, right? That's a heal, and it's also a damage reduction stack, so that's pretty good. And then, yeah, so right here, I assume I go for the stance removal first. Yep. So I do reset, I go for the stance removal, and then we do the heal card, as I was saying, the buff card. Because what it's going to do is it's going to apply the debuff on everybody, the infect, and then Margaret's going to cleanse, and it's going to full heal everybody. So even characters that didn't have it will still get the full heal, which I think is going to be really good. So right here, I was like, okay, this is a little risky. We're going into the final phase, but we will have ultimate on Freya, and we will have a kind of a cleared out hand, right? So I was like, okay, let's just use the cards in between. We get the cleanse, that's going to be a full heal. This is going to be another stance removal as well. And then finishing off with Freya with her attack card is going to be another stance removal to get the kill right there. And we move into the final phase of floor 2. Yeah, moving into the final phase of floor 2, this is where I had a lot of issues. And it was mainly because I wasn't getting the Margaret cleanse cards. You guys know that, like, as I mentioned already, not getting Margaret cleanse cards is the main problem with a team that has RNG like this. But it doesn't make it bad though, because if you have the good card RNG, you could easily run through the entire Nidhogg in like one run on each floor, right? But on the flip side, if you get really bad with your card RNG, you don't get those cleanses with Margaret or with Elizabeth, it's not going to be too crazy, right? But right there, guys, we do the Freya ultimate, and we make sure to put him less than 50%. You guys know the mechanic here is that when he's less than 50%, he doesn't get an attack related up. If you put him above 50%, then he does get an attack related up, and that's where you kind of get cooked, right? So that's kind of a situation that you don't want to be in. So always make sure to lower him below 50%. And so right here, I'm like, okay, we'll buff remove, we'll do the Freya single target, we'll do Tarmiel ult, and I'll do the heal card with Elizabeth, which is actually a really good play right there, because that cleans out my entire hand, and we also get a cleanse heal to remove the corrosion, so we actually don't have to worry about that as well. And look at how much damage we were able to do to the guy. We put him to pretty much no HP as well. So that was really good. And then right there, he does get another buff, which he's going to get that buff every single turn. So you always want to have kind of an Elizabeth buff removal to be able to remove that, which is going to be really good. And so yeah, that's going to be the tech that you guys want to do. And then so right here, Tarmiel is going to get hit. He's going to go for the AoE. Does a good chunk of damage as well. But yeah, I mean, you know, I was like, okay, we can do the Elizabeth heal, we can do a buff removal, we can do the Margaret attack card, and then we do the cleanse, because he's still less than 50%, right? I didn't need to really worry, and I was going to get an attack related stat. Because we are cleansing debuffs, right? So we have 20% attack related stats next turn, so that we're able to do a good amount of damage and lower the gauge again as well, right? So I don't think the gauge is at 0 yet. You'll know the gauge is at 0, by the way, guys, when the immortality buff is gone, right? So when that buff is gone, you'll know he's at 0. So right there, he actually hit 0 right there. So he goes for the ultimate, does a good chunk of damage right there, and yeah, pretty much on this phase, we're just trying to go for the kill now from this point onwards. So we just gotta make sure we cleanse up, we full heal, and then we go for the kill that way, right? That's kind of like the strategy you want to do. So yeah, right there we do the Margaret cleanse, guys. We do the Margaret ultimate. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then we follow up with Freya and Freya. And I don't think we kill here, but we do a good chunk of damage, though. I don't think we killed, though, from what I remember. I could be misremembering though. But yeah, 330k right there on the ultimate with Margaret. I didn't have the Holy Relic, by the way, crazy. And then we follow up with the double single target, and we did a lot of damage. We almost killed, actually. So if I had a little bit more, I would have for sure killed. And we got really lucky there because we top decked a Margaret, you know, another Margaret buff card, but we also had Elizabeth heal cards anyway, so we were gonna finish this fight with full health as long as we had those cards in our hand anyway, right? So we were already okay. So yeah, and then he follows up single target onto the Freya right there, which is okay. And then right here, we're gonna make sure we're full HP, so we do that. We do the Freya follow-up card, and then we follow up with Tarmiel, and we hope that this kills. And I think it does, though, from what I remember. So I think this does kill. And yeah, we do move into the floor 3, guys. So here is the final bit. We do the Freya ultimate, boom, 460k. We do the Freya single target. And yeah, it's GG. So very, very nice floor 2. And yeah, that is pretty much the floor 2, guys. Let's move into the floor 3 now and discuss the strategy with that. Alright, guys, so hopping into floor 3 and now, by the way, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. You guys see it in the stream, or in the stream clip. But yeah, there we go. So we're hopping into floor 3 here, guys. So floor 1 and 2, not too bad, right? You know, we actually had a fairly good experience on floor 1 and floor 2. And so now we're actually moving into the floor 3 here, where this is really where we have a long part of the fight. And I think, you know, this team would do a lot better if I had the red Freya. I've already mentioned this like multiple times throughout the recording here, but red Freya would have been a lot better on this team, just for when we get to that phase 2 of you know, of the fight that we're doing, right? So that's when I would have had a lot better of an experience. But yeah, what I did for this clip as well, guys, is when we get to the final floor, I actually did speed it up for the final floor, but the first 2 floors, or first two phases, you know what I mean, I didn't speed up or anything like that, because they, you know, they weren't too long. I thought we would just let it rock. But yeah, right here we actually got a really crazy merge right there. You guys saw we got the rank 2 Pierce card right there, and because of that, remember, Pierce shreds the gauge on Nidhoggr on floor 3 specifically a lot easier than any other type of skill. So if you have Pierce cards, you can actually shred the gauge very easily and you should be okay. And another thing too is that because you have the Margaret basic stats all automatically on your you know, like the entire team pretty much, like you don't have to really worry about, you know, oh, I have to stack up buff skills like when you have the blue Margaret. Like you instantly just have the full basic stat potential off the rip, which I think is the very most important thing, I think, when actually doing Nidhoggr here and using her, right? So I guess right here I was deciding if I needed to reset or not, but I was like, okay, we can just let her rock, right? Because I think Tarmiel was going to be the lowest HP regardless, yeah. So it didn't necessarily matter on that turn. But we move into the phase 2 right here, guys, and this is where the green Freya will have the worst experience kind of doing, right? So right here we have to do a way in that we're not getting darkness stacks on the entire team. So if you guys don't know, the mechanic on this phase of the fight is that we have to use a skill from every character so that we don't get darkness stacks. If you don't use a skill with a character, they will get a darkness stack, and the boss has covert action, so he does more damage against those darkness you know, debuffs. Right, so right there I do the ultimate with Freya, we do the single target with Liz, we do the single target Tarmiel, and I did the stance removal already with Margaret, so no one gets a darkness stack. And Tarmiel is the lowest HP, so he's the one that gets targeted, and he's going to be the one that's taking the damage, but we are, you know, doing pretty well. And yeah, Tarmiel is going to take the brunt of the damage right there, which is good. And then so this turn right here, I'm like, okay, we have to do a stance removal, but we also have to shred the gauge before we do the stance removal, I was thinking. So it was kind of like a weird situation here, right? Because, you know, we have so much cancel stance, it was better for me to still clear out my hand, but also we had to kind of, you know, pick and choose what cards we were going to be using. So right there I actually do the cancel stance first. I guess he said I had like kind of not too low gauge. You guys can't see the gauge again, you know, my bad, because I had the chat blocking it, but still seeing like what skills I was using, you could get an idea of like how low the gauge was. I think it was around, at this point, around like 20%, maybe 15% on the gauge. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, you like the strategy here is, anyway, you want to be stance removing him every time he gets that stance up, and when you can, right? Because you don't want to just like over stance remove him. If you do it too much, it's not going to be good, right? So you don't want to be doing all of that, but you also don't want to be you know, not stance removing him, right? Because if you don't stance remove him, he's gonna have this counter up, and then that's when he's gonna be doing a ton of damage, right? So right here I was like, okay, let's do the stance removal, we'll do the single target Tarmiel, and then I followed up, I think, with just the Margaret buff card, because right now it wasn't being used, I think, right? Or I actually hold on to it and I don't use the Margaret buff card, so I just follow up double Tarmiel. Yeah, so you do the double Tarmiel single target, and that's gonna do its thing right there. We stance remove, we get the recovery buff as well, and as you guys can see, every time we stance remove him, we get a buff, right? And those buffs are gonna be what benefits the team when we shred the gauge. So every time we stance remove and we have a way to shred the gauge, he gets a new one pretty much, right? So right there, we have the recovery one, we have the ultimate one, we have the stance one, and then yeah, that's pretty much it right now. We don't have the buff one yet, so once we get the buff one, it would be really good. But right there, I saved the buff card because he had the ultimate right there. Very, very clutch that I saved it, because if I used it, that would have been really bad, and if I didn't top deck, right? But yeah, we do the cleanse right there to remove the extort, because the extort's obviously a really big threat, you know, from the enemy right there. And we do get a heal as well, which is really good. Drop the ultimate. We do shred gauge a lot with using the ultimate, so that's really good. And because we're able to kind of cycle through the ultimates like that and attack with everybody, we're not getting the what's it called, the darkness stacks as well. So this is really good. So Tarmiel is getting targeted right here by the boss as he's getting hit. And yeah, I mean, we're doing okay. The boss is really low on the gauge, but remember, we still had to do our cancel stancing shenanigans by removing it, right? So we still had to do a card from each character. So right here, I was like, okay, we'll do a heal card with Liz, you know, get Tarmiel to full HP. I think I do I do double heal to get her ultimate. That's actually not a bad play too. That was actually not a bad play, because what I did here was I was trying to shred the gauge. Yeah, so the double heal card would be 5%, 5%, and then the ultimate, so he would be at 0. So I think this is actually where I do get the kill on this phase. Yeah, so you guys saw right there, he lost the buff right there. So when I do the Freya card and I do that, it's actually gonna remove the stance, but the abyss effect actually kills him. So even if he has a little bit of gauge right there, that's where he can actually kill. So right here, guys, I have the clip sped up, so now you guys can see exactly what I was doing on the floor 3 of phase 3. So this is the longest part of the fight, because I had a lot of issues, honestly, and I had a lot of resetting. So I did speed this up so you guys could kind of see. But yeah, no, I did have a kind of rough experience, man. I really did. You know, the problem that I really had going through this phase of the fight was that I wasn't getting cleanse cards. And so pretty much, like, I'll explain the gimmicks of the fight. So you guys see those like star buffs, right? The gray star buffs. Every time a turn passes, he's gonna remove one of them, and those stars, pretty much when they're all gone, the boss gets all stats, I think by 30% all stats increase. Right, so you pretty much want to kill him before then if possible. If you do put him less than 30% on his HP every time, then you can actually get him to 0% on the gauge and then kill him with the last like star buff that he has. But for my team here and the amount of damage I was able to deal, I'm not going to be able to do that. And you guys see as well that he has an ultimate that applies ignites on my team, and that does so much damage. And for whatever reason, the boss was targeting my Freya for no reason. I think my Tarmiel was the lowest HP still going into that phase, but for whatever reason, Freya was the one getting targeted, which is really not good. If the targeting was on Tarmiel, I think I would have had a lot better of an experience on this phase. But there is that too. But you know, overall, like we still had a fairly decent you know, time beating this. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the kind of the gist of like what was happening. But yeah, so he gets the stance up again. We have another stance removal, which is good, and we always have like ways to kind of counteract it, which is really good. But yeah, yeah, he already had the all stats up, so we pretty much got him to that point where we're kind of shredding the gauge here. And so now he's at 0% on the gauge, guys. You can see that he doesn't have the recovery buff anymore. And look how, bro, look how close we were to dying right there. And look at the top deck we got, right? If we're not getting those top decks, we're not like healing, guys. We're not healing. And we get in a situation where it's really, really scary like that, where, you know, we get really, really low HP and we're almost about to die. And, you know, it's because like, you know, the boss is targeting Freya first off, so that's a really bad thing. He's meant to target Tarmiel, because Tarmiel's the one with the heals. But it's also a bad thing too that the boss kept, you know, getting the ultimate with the infect or with the ignites, and I didn't have a cleanse on those turns. So right here I actually did, which was really good. So we did have a cleanse here, but look how much damage he does here. Look at my Freya, bro. If he didn't stance up there and he did a single target, I'm dead. You know what I mean? So that is a really, really bad situation I was in. And I'm glad that, you know, at least with the card RNG we were getting, we were still able to kind of counteract it, which is good. But it was still very, very scary, right? And because the guy has so much all stats too, he is healing back so much HP every single time, right? And that's really one of the main problems. But right here, we do all our ultimates, and we actually get him very, very low. If I had a follow-up Freya card right there, we might have actually killed right there, and we could have been done the fight if I had a follow-up Freya card. So that was really, really close. But yeah, right here, I was like, okay, I thought I beat it already. And this is where I actually did a misplay. So I tried to go for the kill, and I'm like, yo, we don't kill. So we got to just reset. So I reset my game. And then we hop back in and we try it again, right? Because I was trying to make sure that we actually get the kill. And look at me, I was laughing. I was like, there's no way, guys. There's no way I'm not beating it. But no, I was able to do it. So we load back in here, and yeah, you guys can do this tactic as well actually too, right? It's the reset tactic. So whenever you are in the fight, make sure you close your game, and you'll be able to reset on the phase and redo your card setup. So right here, I do the safe play, and that is just by, you know, pushing up Liz ultimate and healing, right? Just making sure we're full health here, because I know when I'm getting attacked by the boss right there, we're gonna be taking so much damage. And you guys will see, I think this is right here where the boss like gets me like super low. Look at this. So yeah, we're like kind of low on HP, but I think it's this turn where I actually get like really cooked though, which you guys will see. So yeah, we do the double single target. It doesn't kill. I reset again because I'm like, okay, we couldn't get the kill there, but I have to kind of stall again. So we stalled. So I did reset. There's a lot of resets in this, guys, but luckily since it's from my stream, I don't show my info or anything like that, so I didn't have to cut this part out. I can just keep it. Right, so yeah, there is that. And then yeah, so right here, we do the Elizabeth heal ultimate, we do the single target with Freya, and then we follow up with the single target with Elizabeth. And right here, you guys will see, look how much damage I take. This is where I was so scared of dying. Boom, single target, AoE, and I live with a sliver. Okay, so that is why you do not want Freya to be the one that gets targeted, right? Very bad situation. But right here, we do this, and this is very important, guys. You guys saw how I didn't crit with Freya right there, right? If you actually change up your card combo, you can actually crit. So what I actually do instead is, instead of actually ulting there first, I do the single target, and then I follow up with the ultimate, which you guys will see will crit the boss and actually get the kill. So this is a strategy you can do. And so as you guys can see, I did the buff card, I did the cleanse card, I did the single target first, and then I dropped the ultimate and it crit kills him. You see, so you can actually crit and get the kill using it that way, but it's kind of mixing up your cards, right? So that's very important. So there you guys go, man. That is the run on Nidhoggr. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I hope this video was helpful, guys. Very long one, but yeah, I mean, hopefully it was helpful. You guys learned something. And with that out of the way, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a good rest of your day.